Oh, east side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the M-E-T-S Mets of New York Town. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Larry Burnett here. I am at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. And you are just in time for the Nissan Mets Extra pregame show on WOR. Right here, right now, we're counting down to the New York Mets 2015 season opener against the very tough Washington Nationals. Game time is 4:05 this afternoon, and our dynamic duo, Howie Rose and Josh Lewin, will be calling all the action for you on WOR. So, for Mets fans, this is kind of like waiting for that big ball to drop on New Year's Eve in Times Square, without all the noise, of course, and the crowds, and no Ryan Seacrest. You could not ask for a more intriguing pitching matchup today here in the nation's capital. We're looking at Matt Harvey returning to the mound against Washington's Steven Strasburg. Here's a couple of guys who have experienced great success already in their young careers, but serious injuries too, and so we'll be keeping an eye on them. There's a lot of anticipation surrounding the Mets this year, a lot of expectations too, and still a lot of question marks. We'll try to answer some of them for you in the show today. I'll be talking with Mets skipper Terry Collins in the Manager Show, and Michael Kadire will step into the leadoff spot to talk about making the big free agent move to the Mets during the offseason. Right now, time for our first time out as the countdown to the Mets season opener continues from Washington, D.C. on the WOR Mets Radio Network. Welcome back. Great to have you here in the Nissan Mets Extra pregame show on WOR. Hey, don't forget, the Mets home opener will be 1 week from today at Citi Field. First pitch, 1:10 p.m. as the Mets play host to the Philadelphia Phillies. Today, though, it's the Mets season opener here in the nation's capital, and we're going to find out a lot about this year's team in the very first week of the season. The Mets will play 3 games here against the Nats, the reigning National League East champs. They play here Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then head to Atlanta for 3 games. Of course, last year, the Mets and the Braves posted identical 79 and 83 records and finished, hard to believe, 17 games behind Washington in the division. So there's a lot of catching up to do. And the Mets, quite simply, they expect to be better than 79 and 83 this season, but there are still a lot of question marks in 2015. How healthy are Harvey, Parnell, and Wright? Will Granderson bounce back with a new hitting coach? Will it be Kadire or Cadaver in right field? How does Jacob deGrom top his Rookie of the Year season? And do the Mets have any answers at shortstop and behind the plate? Well, Terry Collins says the Mets have the pieces to compete this year, and he's turning up the heat on his team and also on himself. The Mets skipper says it is time to contend. I talked with Collins a short time ago in our exclusive Manager Show. It's brought to you by Lexus of Route 10 in Morris County. And you will get to hear Terry Collins exclusively before every Mets game this season right here on WOR. Hey, it's break time, but keep that dial locked on WOR because Michael Kadire is up next in our leadoff spot as the countdown continues to the Mets season opener against the Nationals. It's all ahead on the Nissan Mets Extra pregame show on the WOR Mets Radio Network. Okay, we're back on the Nissan Mets Extra pregame show. I'm Larry Burnett with you from Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. as the Mets, well, they're getting ready to open their 2015 season against the Nationals. Last year, it was the same 2 teams kicking off the season in the same ballpark. It did not go well for Terry Collins' club. Washington won that opener 9-7 in extra innings and then went on to sweep the 3-game series. In fact, the Nationals had the Mets number most of last season. Can you believe this? The Nats went 15-4 against the Mets last year. And Washington's formula for success, it's pretty simple. They posted the lowest team ERA in the majors last season, and they also gave up the fewest home runs and the fewest free passes. You throw in some timely hitting from Bryce Harper, Jason Worth, Adam LaRoche, etc., and no wonder why the Nationals won 96 games last season. The Mets, they had decent pitching most of last season, but the hitters struggled. In 2014, the team finished number 28 in Major League Baseball in batting average. They were number 20 in home runs and just number 17 in RBIs. So were you surprised that Sandy Alderson went looking for a big stick in the offseason? No. The Mets wasted no time in signing free agent outfielder Michael Kadire away from Colorado. Now here's the book on Kadire. He's 36 years old. He led the National League in batting in 2013, a .331 average. And go back to 2009, Cuddyer clubbed a career-high 32 homers for Minnesota. Last year, Cuddyer hit .332, 10 homers, 31 RBI. Impressive numbers, you say? But don't forget, he only played in 49 games because of injuries. So the Mets checked him out, they took his pulse, they whacked him in the knee with a rubber hammer, they liked him, and they signed him to a 2-year deal worth $21 million. Now, get this. Cuddyer turned down a 1-year, $15 million qualifying offer from Colorado to sign for less money but 1 more year with the Mets. I talked with Michael about the money and his move to the Mets in our leadoff spot, brought to you by Remax. I know a lot of Mets fans were hoping that the team would make a blockbuster trade during the offseason, a big splash to get some hitting and maybe some help at shortstop, but Cuddyer was the biggest acquisition. Hey, you don't make deals just to make deals, and you don't make trades unless you know you can improve your squad. Right now, right here, Mets management feels that with some healthy bodies coming back and Cuddyer plugged into right field, the Mets have a better team to start this season than they had last season. How much better is the big question, and we'll find out shortly when the Mets open their 2015 season against the Washington Nationals here on WOR. Howie Rose and Josh Lewin standing by to call the game for you. I'm Larry Burnett. I'll talk with you later on the Mets Extra postgame show. Enjoy the game. Thanks for tuning in to the Nissan Mets Extra pregame show on the WOR Mets Radio Network. Oh, east side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York Town. Yeah.